All right, to conclude April, which has been kind of a revisitation month in order to honor our anniversary, let's get to a promise that we did, a couple of years ago and revisit not the first, but one of the more notorious attempts at Warner Bros. To have an actual Japanese animated adaptation from one of the properties from DC Comics. We're talking about Batman Ninja. Like I just said, it's not the first time they try to make an anime out of DC Comics. The other major occasion is another miniseries titled Batman, that's apparently in continuity with the Dark Knight saga, the trilogy. Believe it or not, the Nolan trilogy. Yeah, apparently. But we're not talking about that. What we're having here is kind of a miracle. And apparently it was a thing that the Warner Bros. Commissioned to Japan to do. It wasn't even a thing that the creators themselves wanted, but when they got asked about it, we're like, sure. And we kind of have an all-star cast in terms of developers. We have Takashi Okazaki, the creator of Afro Samurai, mind you, as the lead character designer. Then we have, for director, Junpei Mitsuzaki, who has worked after DC, worked for Doraemon, one of the shorts from Star Wars Visions, which I've been told is good, but apparently was an animation director for the animated sequences in Mega Man X7, X8, and Command Mission. And then we have the original screenplay, which, as I will explain in a second, is sadly not in the version we're watching today, from Kazuki Nakashima, who you might have heard because he has worked at Studio Trigger. So he's basically one of the main writers for Kill la Kill, Brand New Animal, and Promare. So you can expect that a bit of kind of insanity just from that. And for the composer, we have Yugo Kanno, which has worked for stuff like the Neo games, but also, most noticeably, every single season of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime. So you can also expect good music out of this. Now, here's the thing. When Warner Bros. Commissioned this product to this all-star cast, what they did said is make it like you would make, a traditional anime on your own. You have completely carte blanche and just need to respect, the major things about the characters, like Batman cannot kill or anything and stuff like that. This had the unfortunate effect, as I will also put in an article that I will link in the description, that they use that typical kind of way that they do when constructing anime, which is ironically kind of similar to the Marvel method, in creating the scenes and having the characters move their lips and then make the dialogue later for that. Unfortunately, the American staff that was supposed to localize the script was never managed to get in par with the script. It's a case similar to Final Fantasy XIII, not completely. Again, the article details it more later, but as a result, they kind of had to improvise and just have the key plot point memorized. So the version that we're watching, just like we did, the version with the American voice acting, can be considered in some ways a movie on its own. Not entirely, because again, it still follows the basic plot point.
If I recall correctly, the subtitles included actually mirror more the Japanese script, ironically enough.
I think so, and I can tell you that at least for my country, which I'm also guessing the other European countries, the dubbing is actually more based on the Japanese script because the jokes and lines are more lines there. But for the American dub, most of the lines are composed differently in a way. Again, this is a case where it's not really the fault of the American localizers. They just literally had to improvise with what they had. I don't really blame them for anything. It works for what it needs to be. I personally will still choose the original type of script, but I'm not dissing too much the American one, and I'm willing to understand the conditions, that it was subjected to. Last thing before we start. Since this does include a big all-star cast, I just need to mention very briefly to share two particular characters, because most of them you have seen in the past, like people like Catwoman, Poison Ivy, the Joker, and stuff like that. But there are two characters that I'm pretty sure you've never seen, and you might need a brief description of them. One, Gorilla Grodd. He's basically a sentient gorilla with a big intellect. Again, big monkey energy. He's normally a villain from The Flash, but for some reason he's in this story. The other is Jason Todd, aka Red Hood. He was the second person who, took the mantle of Robin. The fans did not really like it for a series of reasons. Essentially, got killed by the Joker, but then because comic books, he later got revived, and ever since he has been basically a guy, an anti-hero who terrorizes people and sometimes kills, and has a big grudge against the Joker, and has kind of distant himself from Batman. That's basically all you need to know. Everyone else, you're basically caught up with. Regardless, you can start right before the Warner Bros. Animation logo. In 3, 2, 1, click. Mind you, I do believe that lengthwise, the movie has the same kind of length. So if you watch this with the Japanese dub in mind, or any other for that matter, you should still be caught with us. Don't call me entirely on that, but I have an inch that it still works like that.
DC animated.
I haven't watched a lot active.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't watched a lot actively on Netflix, but from what I have noticed, when you do turn on subtitles, if the movie wasn't originally in English, then the subtitles would be more so a translation of whatever the original language of the property is, rather than mirroring the actual English script.
That's because those subtitles are made for people who want to just watch the movie as originally intended.
Is that Great Delisle?
Yes.
Yes, as Selina Kyle. Again, interesting thing is that, first of all, we start in the middle of the action with Batman trying to fight Gorilla Grodd.
In Arkham Asylum, of all places.
Speaking of which, most of the voice actor for the American dub comes from the Batman Arkham games. Unfortunately, not all of them. Sadly, we do not have Mark Hamill as the Joker. We actually have someone else I will check later. But for example, Bruce Wayne, as in Batman, is actually played by Roger Craig Smith. And unfortunately, whatever Gorilla Grodd was working on has started distorting time and space.
Roger Craig Smith was one of those surprises when he first voiced Batman in Arkham Origins that, no, he can work for the role.
And unfortunately,
but for some reason they just gave it back.
Oh god! Guys, Arkham Asylum is gone!
Teleported away.
So, either people will be celebrating or horrified in the morning.
And Batman just got isekai'd back to feudal Japan.
Hey,
guys, no, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 again.
Tio, look at the bright side.
No!
Okay,
Yes, Jova.
Tio, look at the bright side. At least you didn't have to get hit by a truck to get isekai'd.
But
I don't
anyway,
remember who...
yes.
No, go ahead.
And yes, as you can see, most of the movie is actually 3D CG, 3D anime. But gotta be honest, this is actually one of the better cases.
Yes.
We will get actually a 2D segment later on, very stylized, but you will see. Go on, Shiri.
I don't remember who it was that called Sonic X a reverse isekai.
It was me.
Alright.
Well, it's technically an isekai.
I mean, it is.
So we got Joker Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think?
Well, Shiroi, we don't want to jump to conclusions just yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to use the grappling hook.
Yeah,
Oops.
you can't. The buildings aren't big enough.
Alright,
Just
alleyways it is.
Just use modern Spider-Man logic and swing to the moon.
Oh boy.
What?
Naturally.
A lot. Not everyone. If I calculate the Insomnia game, actually respects the actual physics. But all those Spider-Man games just have you not seeing where you actually throw in the web.
I thought you meant the actual comics. I'm like, what?
No.
So, here we are for another DC animated original movie. As you know, these are acclaimed for being ways to essentially, in a way, watch comics without having all the baggage of comic continuity dragged onto them. So you can essentially witness some of the greatest stories in comics in another medium. In other cases, they're used for amazingly experimental ideas, like Batman crossing over with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, I'm not kidding, that actually happened. Or, as Tio mentioned in this case, a Batman anime. And
I remember, like I mentioned in the original commentary, this caught, so I surprised everyone. I was, flabbergasted by the trailer, but I was so interested to see where this was going, and yeah, I was, pleasantly surprised.
yeah, like, okay, look, when this was first announced, and even with the advertising, some people had doubts. First off, again, because, well, the cast didn't interest them at first, mind you. Then, little by little, things started to get better. When the movie came out, it came out to a resounding applause, and, well, yeah, having seen it myself, I can see why. I actually consider it one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
Well, Batman's found his tall building now.
Mm-hmm. And there's the Joker, dressed as Nobunaga for some reason. Whoops.
So who voices Joker?
Tony Hale.
I know Tony Hale.
I mean,
He
he's
played,
fine, but
Fooled you.
I know Tony Hale. He was in Arrested Development and Series of Unfortunate Events.
You know, I like
he's
to...
fine, but he's still not on par with people like Mark Hamill. Sorry.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm glad DC at least seemed to have learned from one of the mistakes of the Killing Joke adaptation. But just because you can cast Mark Hamill as the Joker doesn't mean he'll automatically work for that Joker.
They could have picked Troy Baker. He was a good replacement for Arkham Origins.
I'm fine with Tony Hale for this particular role, and given how out there things are.
So yeah, apparently not just Batman was transported here, but also a bunch of his villains, including Joker, and yeah, they're just left unchecked. It's a bad, thing. If anything, this resembles a classic Silver Age story. This would resemble like a classic Silver Age story where, suddenly Batman and others are transported to feudal Japan and have to fight for the fate of the world.
Pedro, this is the only thing Tale of a Princess Kaguya was missing. Batman.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, imagine.
I love the Joker's mustache in this.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if one of Kaguya's suitors was the Joker?
Honestly, Dibs, that wouldn't really feel all that out of place, considering the people.
Of course, everything must be handled traditionally.
The Joker is very respectful to foreign culture.
Well,
I mean, he is against Nazis. So,
yeah.
And in case you're wondering that, yes, Harley Quinn is voiced by Tara Strong.
So what you're
Of course,
saying
she's
is
basically the de facto
the one and only Harley Quinn.
Except for that Harley Quinn TV show.
Don't get me wrong. I know that the original Batman the Animated Series voice actress has a lot of love, but I kind of prefer Tara Strong.
Yeah. When did she start voicing Harley? Was it for the
Arkham games?
I believe it started with Arkham City.
Yeah. No, actually.
Wait. No, wait. Actually, technically, she started with the Batman.
Well, I mean, Armin Sorkin retired from voicing her, so...
Well, no, Dribs. Actually, Arlene Sorkin came back as Harley Quinn for Arkham Asylum.
No, I mean after Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that the first time Tara Strong voiced Harley was in The Batman. You know, the show called The Batman.
Wait, I can see the movie. I was like, wait, what?
No. Well, long before that, there was an animated show called The Batman.
So yeah, interestingly enough, Batman is posed with a bit of a challenge here. He doesn't really have kind of a safe place. He's in an ambient that is completely foreign to him, and needs to adapt fast while his enemies have. But thankfully, Selina Kyle is also here. Ha, funny.
Typical with the cat motif. And yes, she's voiced by Grey Delisle here.
Mm-hmm.
Such a lovely voice.
Yes.
All right, Tio.
Mm-hmm.
On a scale from Berserk 2016 to I don't know any the best CGI.
Well, I can tell you this before you even finish that sentence. Like, this is probably my favorite 3D animated stuff that has been done for Japan.
Hey,
also, yes, that minor sequence with that the Gray Zone actually also was in, I think, in 2D specifically.
So it turns out Batman's allies were there as well.
Almost the entire Bat family. The only one that's missing, that are missing, are Batwoman and Huntress. Okay, I think also I forgot. Is Batgirl also here? Anyway, Gorilla Grodd is voiced by Fred Tatasciore because, of course, I don't know if he reprised the role for Injustice 2 or not.
Damn, this really is like this really is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, all down to wanting to become master of time and space. I think that was the main plot. And you lost the audio.
Yeah, that's the thing about Gorilla Grodd.
This...
He's very tech-savvy.
Also, that said, Grodd made one big error. Thinking that all of Gotham's criminals would just, take to blindly following him. Especially when one of them is the Joker, who kind of has a knack for usurping leadership. Which is just what Joker did, as you can see.
How do the villain hierarchy in Gotham even stay?
Normally, the likes of Joker, Penguin, Two-Face, and Poison Ivy are the top dogs. Sometimes they throw in Riddler there at the top. Then you start working your way down the tiers. Of course, Joker always makes sure he is the de facto.
Yeah, since we're homaging the period where Japan was shattered and, Oda Nobunaga was mostly rampant, but we're still a couple of minor lords, we're kind of following on that trend. In this case, Joker is a stand-in for Oda Nobunaga.
I can't wait till Rocksteady makes a new Batman Arkham game that's just Ghost of Tsushima.
And yes, for Penguin, they got back Tom Kenny from the Batman as well.
Oh yeah, he did voice him. Yeah.
Poison Ivy is also voiced by Tara Strong in this version. Then we have Deathstroke, a recurring villain from Teen Titans. From Teen Titans, in this case, also voiced by Fred Tatasciore.
Deathstroke. He was that one voiced by Arnett in the movie, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they keep trying to make Deathstroke a Batman enemy?
I don't know. And then we have Two-Face voiced by Eric Bauza.
Oh, great.
Bugs Bunny.
Wait, Bugs Bunny, okay.
Not just Bugs Bunny, he does Daffy as well.
And of course, on top, the Joker and Harley Quinn.
And Jova's favorite character, Foop, from the Fairly Odd Parents.
Why do you even apply me to that?
Good, because I needed to segue into that.
Maybe,
there is a funny story about Eric Bauza and Tara Strong, though.
Okay, I don't know for sure, but maybe Deji's logic is that he shares a lot of characteristics that Jova typically doesn't like in characters.
Yes.
Also,
no promises are made.
Also, Bruce, I see you're doing your good Phoenix Wright cosplay with that hairdo.
I mean, he doesn't need,
Objection.
He needs to stay relatively low for having the cowl fitting.
Yeah, about doing a low profile. Let's see his civilian identity for this.
Huh.
A bat preacher
A
missionary. Who literally has the bat signal on top of his head.
Not for nothing, Selena, but if you know nothing about the era, people like the character that Bruce is cosplaying were kind of seen as a nuisance, and sometimes we were killed. So I'm not sure it's a good idea.
Jova, question.
What?
How well do you think Bruce would cope in an Ace Attorney world?
He would... Okay, first he would apply alliances with the likes of Phoenix and company to help get the law better on a legal stance. Similar to what he did with Harvey Dent before things went south. So, I feel like he would actually adhere well to it.
Here we have... There we go. We have Alfred, which in this version is voiced by Adam Crossdale, as in the voice actor for, among other things, Ignis from Final Fantasy XV.
Huh.
Well,
I guess
yeah,
Wow,
I
the
guess
first
he's
person to
specialized for the
shock
role.
Batman.
I guess he just excels at butlers. too.
Des,
Yeah, of
Des,
course.
you're surprised that Alfred is the first person to shock Batman?
Yes.
But yeah, some things actually managed to actually get teleported around this place. So Batman has a bit more of a chance. Of course.
Also, that particular hairstyle choice must take a lot to maintain.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I guess Brutal, don't worry, will not see it much.
Alright, so Adam Crosdell. Just checking
Again,
out.
he has an extensive career.
Okay, he was in The Witcher. Something to do with The Witcher, at least. Glitch Tex. Has anyone seen that show?
No.
I've just figured out a new recipe, Master Bruce.
Literally.
Alfred, you do that every month.
Oh,
And he was also a graduate of the recently recently defunct Hobby City Academy.
okay, so we may have been found out.
Yeah, basically, Shiro, the actor playing Alfred was in an episode of Hobby City at one point, which, as of over a week before this recording, is sadly no longer on the air. It was our fault.
Alright, the Batmobile here is basically almost identical to the model from Arkham Knight, actually. Well, which is in turn is also inspired by the Nolan trilogy, although it's, as you can see, it's not quite a one-to-one model. Oh, I'm sure that will stop him.
Yeah.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I can see some of the issues with how the production worked. The lip syncing really didn't match.
Again, it is sadly one of those cases where the American dubbers had to do the stuff on the fly.
Yeah, now I hope you're ready, at least you sharing them that you still will be, because things are about to get a bit insane, and they're not gonna stop.
Let me put it like
I
this.
mean,
The insanity levels are essentially either gonna be this movie's greatest weakness, or, to many, its greatest strength, essentially.
Well,
Remember,
I
when
expected
the device got
sanity.
activated, several core engines were scattering Joker as one of them, but applying it as a power source, it allows a fucking Edo Castle to turn into a giant robot.
And
I mean, insanity. To be fair, insanity. I mean, the Joker and Harley Quinn at the same time.
believe it or not, Twibs, this is tame compared to what we're gonna get later.
Just telling you.
Let me put it like this. This movie knows what it came to do, and it does not pull any punches, no matter how silly they appear. So yes, we will indeed throw giant shurikens that look like they came out of the Silver Age right at you.
Again, in a lot of cases, in a lot of situations, this story has a lot of vibes from classic Silver Age weirdness. It just still manages to work because of it's adapted to this particular media.
Oh, that's just petty Joker. That said,
There we
he's
go.
still got the Batwing.
Much like with a lot of other incarnation, in this case, the Batmobile can actually transform in case of emergency.
The Batwing and a character from Final Fantasy 15 is in it that also had the Batwing.
Oh. Yeah, he kind of foresaw that.
I like how Joker's fully embracing the vibe of
I mean,
The era.
I mean, you either adapt or you fall.
Adapt or die, Shiroi. Adapt or die.
And Joker not only adapts, he insists on excelling so that he can come off as a proper class of criminal.
Oh.
Huh.
Wait. Child? I thought it was just the woman.
No,
she's
she's got
actually
a...
embracing a child.
Now I'm going to give you to the count of 3. 3, squelch!
Megatron looking hand.
I know, right?
Would that be something Joker would do? Threaten to count to 3, but just goes 3 and does it anyway.
Yes!
Yes.
Also, for some reason, Bane wrestler, even though it's not the original Bane.
It's Sumo Bane.
And from what I understand, Bane keeps his Japanese voice in the English.
Mostly because he's just using not grunts, but simple, attack calling, quote unquote, that are used in typical sumo fighting.
Don't worry.
Yes, the bat cycle transforms into the Dark Knight
Armored
Returns feudal
Batman.
armor. Sure, why not?
You know, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, Alfred, I need to be ready. Just in case, right after taking on a giant mech itself, I have to fight Bane. So I'll make it so that my Psycho, which is inside my Batwing, which is inside my Batmobile, will be able to turn into a robotic mech suit.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like sure, why not is going to be the general sentiment of all of this.
Definitely.
That is the best mentality.
I'm all here for this type of thing.
Shiroi, it's called Batman Ninja. You kind of know what you're getting at just by the name alone.
Also, fun fact.
Well, you know what?
And it was a dupe.
And it turns out the baby was her hammer. How
Yeah.
fitting.
Also,
So he was about to set Harley Quinn to die, huh?
Also, well, depends.
It was a
she probably couldn't
gambit.
get away. Yeah, but okay, that line is fine. But
Also, Deji, you say that as though this isn't an incredibly toxic relationship that they have.
Also, fun Easter egg: that chibi Batman icon that was for the ejector seat resembles a bit the character of Batmite from the Silver Age.
I know Shiroi Harley seems to like it.
So yeah,
still abusive.
So yeah, Joker essentially used Batman's morals against him. Dang it, Puddin', why did you have to go and jinx us?
A literal swarm of bats.
I'm like, the lights
Come
are.
on, you just need to take a joke sometimes.
It's just a prank, bro.
Ninja Batman? Now, I don't know about you, but for me, this seems just a little bit silly.
We're in feudal Japan through time travel, Miss Quinn.
And we have
What do you
robots.
think? Of course it's going to be silly.
Well, you gotta have limits at some point, Puddin'.
No, you don't.
Again, I just learned to roll with the punches.
I mean, given the
Limits
fact...
are for boring people.
I mean, given the fact that we have
All
Crisis
right,
on Infinite Earths, yeah, there really is no limit.
So, two of the Robins are here, Dick Grayson and Tim Drake, voiced respectively by Yuri Lowe. No, actually, no. Dick Grayson also voiced by Adrian Crossdale, and Tim Drake by Will Friedle.
Oh,
Will
Ron
Friedle, is that Ron
Stoppable.
Stoppable?
Yes, that's Ron Stoppable. And also, Batman Beyond.
Yeah,
I got that
apparently they managed to actually train an entire clan, in service of Batman.
To be fair, their
I've
lives
got
were
Batman
guided.
Beyond.
Their lives were actually guided by a great prophecy.
Yeah,
Go on.
I've actually got Batman Beyond still on Blu-ray. I still haven't watched it yet.
Let me guess. It's the plot twist is that these Batman Ninja Clan are basically the ancestors of the League of Shadows.
The movie never states it, but it could actually be implied.
I mean, it would make sense.
Honestly...
But yeah, apparently they have these legends about a foreign person that will actually lead
You
a
know,
clan of ninjas.
you know what? Given how crazy the DC universe can be, Yeah, let's just run with this.
I like how the background you look, well, just before looked like an old painting.
They actually stylized like that. The 2D sequence we will get later is also going to be very stylistic in resembling traditional on paper kind of Japanese painting.
Think about it this way. This
sorry,
movie...
I thought we were going to transition into the Avatar credit sequence.
Think about it this way. This movie is also a love letter to a lot of Japanese art culture in multiple
the
ways.
last Airbender Avatar.
Like you said, the character design is the character design is same from Afro Samurai. If you've ever seen that series, you know how stylized it can also be. So the same process is applied here.
Because of course he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also the other challenge. Batman now doesn't really have that much technology. Sure, the entire clan of ninja. And here's Damian.
He literally introduced himself doing the Naruto run.
I take
Damian is one of the recent incarnations of Robin, voiced by Yuri Lowenthal in this case. All you need to know is that he's Batman's son, and he's kind of an arrogant nut. He has his moments of charm. I'm not a big fan of him, but I don't hate him necessarily.
Let me put it like this. Damian used to be hated by the fan base, but then Bruce died. Actually, no, he didn't. He was just sent back in time, but as far as everyone knew, he died, and Damian got to spend some bonding time with Nightwing, after initially trying to kill him, and now Damian is seen as the little cinnamon roll of the Bat family.
Anyway, also, again, homaging another thing, much like the traditional Japanese macaque, if you've seen stuff like a video from Z Frank, Gorilla Grodd also enjoys a traditional type of hot spring. But Batman is here mostly to try to ask a bit of a small alliance.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Grodd is that he's not always 100% a villain, but he is most of the time. So while there are some occasions where he actually can see reason compared to people like, say, the Joker, you cannot rely potentially on his morality for most of the time. I don't even, again, and the fact he's a villain mostly associated with the Flash.
Yeah, I was about to say, what?
Okay.
Why do they always make all these other villains associated with Batman?
Okay, for this I can understand because Big Monkey and everything, part of Japanese culture as well, so they took the chance while they could.
I guess.
So yes, an alliance we shall have. Huh. That's artistic.
That's a choice.
It really is.
And people say I'm vain.
Yeah, okay. I'll give them this. Even though they did have to improvise a lot, the dub is still pretty entertaining.
I haven't mentioned them. The screenplay for the English version was actually handled by two people, Leo Chu and Eric S. Garcia. So at least they had more brainstorming. Took you long to notice.
Which is just what he was expecting. I like
Probably not.
Machine guns. Is it going to be like Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge with Seto Kaiba having the chopper blade sound like him, but instead it's the Joker's machine gun sounding like his laugh?
I'd rather not.
Of course, because this is again.
You see,
Batman.
I knew that you would expect that. I would expect to do that, so I planned for your plan for me in the plan.
Okay, I didn't know we were in '60s Batman all of a sudden.
Again, like I said, this story has a lot of vibes from the Silver Age, so you need to expect that.
Also, you know,
where Batman always has the solution conveniently in his belt.
Not gonna lie, this is totally an anime thing as well. With the whole, according to Keikaku.
I activate my secret trap card.
Pretty much.
Also, for extra cute points, Selena actually whip that's actually around her waist actually gets the result of having also give her an actual tail.
Yeah.
Cute. Of course.
That looks like it hurts.
A lot of this looks like it hurts.
Anime hurts in general, Shiroi.
Damien, I don't like your hair. I'm sorry.
I will say this. Damien hairstyle
Mentally and
is a choice.
physically, but
Of course it's a choice. Everything Damien does is a choice.
Yes.
You say anime hurts. That's the last thought Hayao Miyazaki has every time before he goes to bed.
Surrounded.
Now let's be honest, Joker. Do you prefer to be sit on by a giant gorilla?
Yes, at least it's something different.
That eye laser bit, that was legit out of classic anime. Wow, so all's well that ends well.
No, we still have like another hour to go.
He's fine.
You're so unoriginal, Batman. Ripping off Scorpion.
We're both owned by Warner Brothers.
So it's perfectly legal.
So...
Ooh!
Yeah, here's another thing that Grodd is specialized with. Mind control. Yeah, no.
we're built different.
Any minute now.
There it is.
Shit.
Funny, Joker literally told him.
Yeah.
Oh, told him. Don't trust him. He might betray you.
He's
That's
a little
because,
two-faced, you could say.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Still not as great as Batman's greatest foe, though. One Face.
The Riddler.
No! One Face! Yeah, that was a thing. You sunk my battleship!
Basically.
Shut up.
Selena, you traitor!
That's classic Catwoman drama. Come on.
Yes, and this is why I can never really support the ship of Selena and Bruce, because she's... Even if it takes years, she eventually does something to disappoint him. You'll never have these problems with Diana, Bruce.
She's pretty catty, yeah.
Ha.
Again, Bruce, you won't have these problems with Diana. Just settle down with her instead.
What about Vicky Vale, though? I mean,
What about Vicky Vale? She's barely been in anything Batman related aside
yeah,
from...
that's the thing. Yeah, well, how come? That's what I'm asking, Joe. How come exactly?
I guess most days people see it as like, well, the thing is like a lot of superheroes had reporter girlfriends here and there, so that would kind of overlap here and there. Although they did have Vicky Vale in the Batman Telltale games, and she's quite different there, I'll tell you. Of course. Oh, I'm insane! Aren't you the world's greatest detective? Joker, yes! No.
So, yeah,
It's not how
the operation was kind of a bummer at the end of the day.
Would you say it was kind of a bust?
Again, it's
I guess
also
you could say
interesting.
it blew up in his face.
Basically, well, almost literally. For a type of Batman story, it's interesting to see him not really succeeding at all for his first half. So.
That said, you know what this means now? Now Batman has even lost his bat suit.
Yeah. So they had to kind of start from scratch.
I'm gonna go back to seeing that stupid haircut.
So yeah, Joker...
So now we're having a small actual time skip, actually. Not too long, I think it's only a couple of weeks, which allows, the different emperors, quote-unquote, to actually start build their own giant robot castles.
And the matter is that, well, with Joker and Harley Quinn out of the picture, now there's going to be more of a power struggle.
So yeah, it's gonna be an idea to settle things and decide who's the true rule of Japan. Also, another thing I need to mention, this is gonna be the only one time that I mention the major difference with the original script, because I think it's noticeable at least. In this particular moment, the original line is just there, one line to foreshadow that pot that you see in the background where he's doing that. In here, instead, is just a joke about symbolizing the hypocrisy of Catwoman. That again, it's more a foreshadowing for a scene that's going to happen later involving that pot, but that's pretty much it. Again, the cinematography for this movie is also very on point.
Yeah, like honestly. Yeah, I do agree that this is probably the best that 3D anime has ever looked. I mean, the competition isn't the best, which is alleviates that, but no, this is legit good.
Like CGI anime in general.
Yes.
Again, I've seen the more recent Berserk series, that I know what they're capable of.
Have you seen the Lupin movie?
Lupin the First. Well, that's more similar to the Astro Boy that we commented on in terms of being more fluid. You can tell that this particular stylized version of the 3D anime.
Cell shaded, it's like you're looking at cell shaded graphics.
Yeah,
basically.
Similar to the Fire Emblem more recent titles, and to an extent also the Dragon Prince. Also try to use this technique.
Also, Dwebs, another connection to Princess Kaguya. In the same way that this is the ultimate 3D anime, and the same way that Kaguya is the ultimate 2D anime.
Wait. Who's Batman stripped of
in terms of visuals, I mean.
Yeah.
Who's Batman stripped of his technology? Well, no one. Except Rich, philanthropist, ultra
Playboy.
martial artist,
A
Playboy, detective,
And more recently,
scientist.
a vampire.
Yeah, but aside from that, he's nothing.
So yeah, Batman will have to again start from scratch, and this time basically from zero, because we're not having any more technology. So you just have to work with the things that he has here.
Yeah, no one knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Bruce, not for nothing, but tossing that away just right there could alter the time stream continuum.
Alright, if I recall correctly, we're about to get it now. There is one... actually, no, first the transformation sequence, in a sense. There we go. He built a new mask.
God, I hate demons here, so.
You will call me Bat Ninja.
I always chalk that up to Damien just wanting to be the most at anything.
Okay, here we go. There is one person of the Bat family we haven't seen yet, the one that I mentioned before, Red Hood. And now we're about to get the sequence. First of all, we get again this minor montage, stylized again with these 2D pictures, which are also very beautiful.
I wonder if this is styled after Hokusai's style painting.
The Riddler's not in this, right?
No,
No.
unfortunately. I guess it could have still worked.
I guess they didn't want things to get too packed with villains. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, this is like
Of course,
a little
food is
over an hour
important.
long. Yeah.
Especially,
not gonna
considering
lie,
this is only 90 minutes. Of
Not gonna lie, I
Well,
kind of wish they made a video game based on this because it really
I know,
feels,
right?
in terms of structure.
So Red Hood has found
Has
two
found
odd
something.
citizens.
Like I said, however, Red Hood, as Jason told, ever since he came back to life, he's never been exactly one for patience or, be gentle with people. And you will see.
It's in a land so far distant that the art style changes.
In this movie, Red Hood is voiced by also Yuri Lowenthal.
Hi, Harley Quinn.
The hat is also a direct reference to that.
Yeah, Jason's kind of got a big grudge against Joker in particular.
He was literally crowbarred to death by him. So
Yeah, Jason kind of knows the number one rule. No death unless there's a body. He should know he was one of those casualties. However, something seems a bit off about Harley and Joker here. I mean, believe it or not, Jason, there have been quite a few times when the Joker has reformed. One time when he thought Batman was dead, it actually scared him sane.
as much as I'm a fan of the character, I kind of agree with Inkar. The fact that Batman still actually, allows him to be basically around, despite the fact that he's so ruthless, is beyond everyone.
He's like, I can fix them. No, you can't.
So consider this though: if Joker and Harley were just doing a bit, the wool would have likely have come off now at this point, because if there's one thing Joker is aware of, it's that Jason don't play. Like,
What?
at all. Yeah, you just fired the gun.
Oh.
And it was intercepted by Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course.
Again, we're slightly homaging the Under the Red Hood storyline with this.
Again,
Music.
now consider this though: if Joker and Harley were really trying to hide, wouldn't they have done a much covert stuff? Because American Girl and literal pale-faced, green-haired man kind of stick out, don't they?
It seems they both suffer from amnesia.
Yeah, it's almost like trying to blow someone up was a dumb idea.
What, you think that was going to stop Joker? He lives on the edge. Granted,
So yeah, while Jason is rightfully, I must say, still not very convinced by this, Batman is reasoning that if this is true, can be legitimately a new start for these people who, despite being despicable, now have a chance of potential redemption in a place that has only known them for so little.
It does also bring up the moral conundrum. Yes, they are two of the biggest villains from Gotham, but if they have legit lost their memory and are effectively new people, is it right to punish them for the crimes of what they did before losing their memory?
It's something I want to talk about after we record this because it's very, very relevant.
Okay.
No, if it's
He looks so weird without all the makeup, though. It's
I mean, I'll be
strange.
honest, though. I'll be honest, though, Jova. It'll probably turn out like that 90s Spider-Man episode where the Beyonder transplants all those bad guys onto a peaceful planet and they just destroy the place.
In general, Dweebs, it never works. Again, both in Marvel and DC characters have tried to do that multiple times. But the important thing is that a new flower has actually bloomed, in the garden of these two farmers.
Come on, Jason.
Come on, yes, sir. Come on, red helmets. It's Red Hood. No, you're wearing a helmet. Whatever.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just laughing at how ridiculous all that was.
And now they managed to actually have something growing.
They fell for a hook, line, and sinker.
What a lovely day it
1
is.
month later.
Seems like a lovely day for a war.
Mm-hmm. If I recall correctly, Grodd is supposed to be a stand-in from Tomohito Hideyoshi.
What does Selena gain in this?
She wants to go back to her own time, and she believes betting on Grodd is the best choice.
Instead of trusting Bruce, okay.
Look, Selena does not always make the best decisions, like, quite often.
Because considering her family upbringing, yeah.
Depends on which family upbringing version.
Oh no, not the dog!
The Falcones.
Yeah.
Not the sheep.
Maybe if he uses the drill mode, he may be able to pierce her.
Wait.
And yes, in a nod to the Tim Burton movie, we have the penguin using actual penguins. Yeah, Shiroi?
I hate.
It's like when Mena thought she could take on a bus.
Wait, Mena tried to take on a bus? Who won?
Man, this Mario
Yes.
3 remake is a lot weirder than I remember.
Also, not even kidding, when they try to homage the Tim Burton movie, it's literally the same. The penguins with rocket on their backs.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about small dogs, Jova. They will do that.
Also, Slade, aren't you... Okay, I get the idea that even the makers of this did not know much about... aside from the basic things of the characters, because Slade, if there's one thing that Slade kinda is most respectful outside of the money on people who buy stuff for him, was actually his wife. So
Maybe
seeing
that's...
him actually having another girl here feels a bit out of character.
Tio, I don't know how to break this to you, but I remember he had sex with Tara.
True, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
He's not above it.
But yeah, again, good thing before starting a battle, a tea, of course.
Is tea really that effective for battle?
There's always time for tea.
I don't know. I mean, the side that drank tea a lot lost the Revolutionary War. Also,
yes, for this movie, Damian has a pet monkey, which resembles a bit
The monkey from Speed Racer.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, I like Speed
No,
Racer.
no. The Chim Chim is a traditional chimpanzee. This one is a little one. It reminds me a bit more of the protagonist of the game Son Son from Capcom, which is a slight reference to Journey to the West.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, Bat Horse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Bat Horse is a thing.
He has a bat cow. The whole Batman works alone thing is kind of bullshit when he has the most sight.
Hello?
Sengoku, Batman. The Batsman Samurai.
Yeah.
Crap. Tia, what's the name of that Capcom IP that's like Dynasty Warriors?
Sengoku Basara.
Yeah. Maybe they can make a game like that.
Oh, there's Mount Fuji.
Well, at least they were courteous enough to do this in an open field where innocent civilians can't get hurt.
So yeah, I hope you enjoy it because now the rest of the movie is basically a gigantic climax.
It's even got a monocle.
Oh, Starscream.
Yes, Tom Kenny did voice Starscream at some point, too.
Oh, happy. This episode of Transformers Animated is weird.
Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't got a Transformers anime that took place at that point in time. Also, that is totally out of a Sentai, Deathstroke.
Yes.
Well, most of these castles do resemble, robots from Sentai culture.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, here's instead the gimmick. The Two-Face castle is unique because it resembles the... hold on.
Oh.
Instead, it resembles, I forgot, there you go, a specific deity. In some cultures, you refer to Asura, the idea of the multi-faced, multi-armed, and a face that resembles an emotional state, which, triggers certain conditions. And yes, Batman and his army have to face all of this while on a horse.
Have fun.
I mean, not just yet. They're too busy flexing against each other.
Oh, but don't worry, there's also still the army on foot that they have to face.
Forgot to mention, the original character they created for this, Ayan, is actually played in the English version by Matthew Yan King.
Monkey.
Feeling daring tonight? Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's just pray that the horses can handle an incline this steep.
I'm honestly surprised that Batgirl wasn't in this.
Yeah, again, unfortunately, no. Again, Cassandra Cain kind of could have fit.
You think DC will do anything with Cassandra?
Actually,
unfortunately, Two-Face still has to abide by the rules of the coin, so... Shit.
Jova, of everything that we've seen in this movie, you're gonna question the legitimacy of the horses running down that hill?
Well, gotta be easy on their legs, at least the mechs have strong legs. Also, just to be fair, DC were actually doing stuff with Cassandra Cain for a good while, even into DC Rebirth as well. That said,
Cassandra was in Birds of Prey, right?
Yes.
In name only. In name only. Look. For as much as I don't like how the MCU has been treating Carol Danvers, I will take even that over what the DC Cinematic Universe did to Cassandra Cain.
The thing with Carol is that not even Marvel themselves know what to do with her.
Oh, trust me, I have a whole speech for that in mind for when we do the Captain Marvel movie. But yeah, Carol is one of the biggest examples of a studio not knowing what to properly do with the character.
So
yeah.
thanks to its own manipulation, Grodd has managed to basically stand on top of all the others.
Oh.
It's okay, they're fine.
Until he sits on them.
Again, Grodd is another secret weapon inside the castle.
It's got secret weapons for secret weapons.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, Dweebs, very Silver Age.
Believe it or not, Dweebs, we're not at the end of it yet.
Let me guess. In case my destroy the Earth ray doesn't work, I have a button that will blow up the universe.
By using his mind control, he manages to gain control of the other. Okay, with Poison Ivy is a bit scary to admit. I do remember her being slightly more resistant to mind control.
Really? Oh, okay. I know that Poison Ivy dips into mind control, but I don't think they've ever established that she herself is not susceptible to mind
DC
control.
characters have a way of not being able to resist mind control at a whim. But yeah, using shogi pieces, there you go.
Oh my God, he's gonna transform all of them.
Yes.
Yo, let's go!
Hey, Dej, do you like Power Rangers?
What kind of question is that?
You sound so happy about all this. It's great.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
Come on, transforming.
So
That's
gee,
not the coolest thing ever.
Selena, it's like trusting Gorilla Grodd was a bad idea.
Where does Megazord power?
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh my God, this plot's gonna be hijacked by the Joker, isn't it?
Well, let's just say, Dej, unlike a lot of other plots, Joker had more plans that he let on.
Oh. So after all that, we don't get a back fight.
Just wait and watch, Dwibs.
I won't deny I'm actually kind of disappointed.
Jason Todd, I mean,
how many times have we seen the Joker be the main villain in something?
Again, just wait and watch. Also, yes, Joker and Harley are now wearing outfits, armor. Harley's wearing something that's more akin to a classic outfit, whereas Joker is wearing something that makes him look like Jack Nicholson from the '89 movie.
He stole my balloons!
So here's the thing.
He treats Harley better than he did Bob in that film.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but believe it or not, things are not... You don't have the full picture quite yet exactly of what went with Joker yet. However, what you do need to know is that he played everyone like a damn fiddle, essentially.
Mm-hmm. How considerate.
Joker's always been something of a scientist.
No, this was supposed to be my movie.
I'm sorry, were you paying attention to the fact that I was the main villain from the start, you dumb gorilla?
You're always the main villain, though.
And now he literally kicked them out of his house.
He still kept the slide.
So, Selena, this is like what? The 60th time you've betrayed me and lived to regret it?
You can say that a classic never dies.
She could have landed on her feet.
How many lives she got left?
5. Maybe.
Fair enough. But again, according to the Tim Burton movie, she got out, she exhausted all of them and still was alive at the end.
She hacked it. We never saw her again after that continuity, so...
Simp.
Look,
Alright, so where were
Bruce
we?
just likes bad girls, okay?
Diana's better for him. That's
Sorry,
it.
she's in love with Steve.
Okay.
But yeah, where were we?
Yeah, now I believe you guys wanted a mecha.
Yes. We did, actually.
You're getting a mecha. In fact, you're getting an even bigger mecha than originally planned. Complete with a Joker Sentai theme song.
I did say this earlier.
Okay, this would have been a more fitting theme song for the beginning of Naruto.
So yeah, Joker had a few.
JoJo sounding theme.
Basically, Joker had a few
Again,
extra.
that same composer.
So never forget, Joker was the one who originally came up with Arkham Castle. So he had a little extra plans in mind that Grodd didn't know about. See, that's the thing about Joker. Even if he's not the smartest villain in the room, just always remember he's the most unpredictable. And that makes him just that awesome.
Bass.
Yep. Look at that. The awesomeness radiating
the
off
most
of it is
It looks
critical.
so cool, though.
We need Megazord power.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. We need Megazord power. No.
And that there is the beta for the merchandise.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good job this one actually Power Rangers. Otherwise, at least two of the Robins would leave the show.
Oh!
Oof. Oh no, not the pad monkey.
In fact, that should be a new Power Rangers spin-off show. What happened at the Peace Conference?
Oh, actually, the comics explain what happens. They go to space.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know by Peace Conference it meant go to space.
I mean, you could have some tea.
They technically like the peace conference was all just a lie. They just had to they went to space and became Omega Rangers.
Well, how come Jason left?
Again, he became an Omega Ranger.
But he returned in Zeo.
So yeah, Gorilla Grodd's flute doubles as a mind control device, but not necessarily for human, but for an army of monkeys.
Why did that Robin just a bit ago? Why does it look like he's 40?
Sure. Alright, pay attention exactly because Damian wants to be cheeky and he's gonna sound a specific tune.
Is it na 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 Batman?
You listen, don't worry. Ooh. Yes, Dej, you were right.
It's awesome.
Again, considering this is more of a Silver Age story than anything, I guess it fits.
And again,
This is cute.
let me put it like this. You have not yet seen the craziest thing this movie can do yet.
No, we're not done yet, believe it or not.
Okay, so I'll say this.
The monkeys are all gonna stand on top of each other and make us all do I not?
Man, this is what Rio should have done to get rid of the Power Rangers.
Attack them with monkeys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Of course the pet monkey is a love interest. Alright, you're not ready for this.
Robin.
Wait, Akira reference?
Nah.
I mean, that's what I also just said.
Oh.
It is literally a mass of
course,
giant
sir.
monkeys forming that thing. Boop.
That is quite possibly the most menacing thing I've ever seen.
It's the stare.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I'll give the Joker some credit. I don't think even he could have foreseen being attacked by a giant combined
Monkey construct.
Yeah. I don't know, but
Oh, come on, Catwoman. Half the time you're going bowling with Harley.
I can't say the character design for Catwoman reminds me of somebody else, but I can't think who.
A lot of anime cat girls.
I like the detail that her cowl having to be handmade for the occasion cannot manages to cover all of her hair.
Oh boy. Oh, they're gonna give them a warm welcome.
So, Jerome's squalor from Unfortunate Events just went nuts after leaving his bitch of a wife, and he became the Joker.
Yes.
Fortunately, it's a flamethrower.
And you know what flames tend to do to monkeys?
Set some on fire?
Yes!
Turn them into monkey robots, and we get Super Robot Monkey 2.
Nope, they're literally being burnt alive.
Yeah, we pass from one moment of comedy to fucking monkey genocide burning. What the fuck is going on?
That said, we're still not at the top of how crazy things can get yet. Because now it's time for the bats to get involved.
Oh my god, Batman creates his own mech out of bats, huh?
No, not the bats! Not the bats! Uh-oh.
Really, Batman? You're wasting time having them form your
symbol? By combining with the monkey construct.
And the bats... Ladies and gentlemen, I give you... the Batman!
Wait, it's the Batman from the animated series!
Not only... No. Not from the animated series. That is the first ever costume of Batman.
Bad God. I forgot that author. Somewhere that author but wrote stuff like Justice League of God, just orgasm and doesn't know why.
And now, ladies and gentlemen... A fight
is insane.
Yes.
A fight.
Same writer from stuff like Kill la Kill and Promare. Are you even remotely surprised?
So now, Dwibs, Shiroi, I give to you a giant Power Rangers combined Joker mech against a Batman mech made out of bats and monkeys, akin to Spider-Man, now rushing at each other, head-on, fist-fying.
Man, this is the best high ever.
Yeah, you know, I'll stick to my...
drugs.
You know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns. This is still one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life.
You know what? Yeah.
Oh, that was just cheeky, Bruce. That said, we're not done yet. Believe it or not, we are not done yet with how crazy we can take things.
There's still quite a little bit left of this movie.
Like he said, the climax is quite long, actually.
Yeah, it's like 18 minutes.
I mean, that is very anime of it.
So yeah, each
will take a specific member. Dick Grayson, because apparently recent time he needed to have a rival against the Penguin, of course.
Of course, Jason gets
Deathstroke against Deathstroke because both use guns.
But wouldn't it make sense for Dick Grayson to be a rival to Deathstroke, considering Titans?
I don't know. Team Drake against Two-Face, of course.
It makes sense. In a lot of cases, they make Two-Face be the one who killed Tim's parents.
And against Poison Ivy. So, yeah, that's a big question. What actually happened? Yeah, it was actually genuine. A genuine kind of thing. Although it was actually planned.
Yeah, so Batman was actually not in the...
Again, we're talking anime reference. Do you remember what happens at the halfway point of Death Note, Shiroi?
So yeah, you know the flower? The flower was a trigger here.
Joker induced amnesia to both himself and Harley Quinn only to create a trigger that would have activated a specific point.
Yeah.
Just according to Keikaku.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, Joker could totally go a few rounds with Light and probably win.
Most likely because Light will not know his true name.
So yeah, even when
I still haven't finished Death Note yet.
I haven't even started.
Well, you've seen the Netflix adaptation, which is not saying much.
I mean, you can still say he hasn't seen Death Note then.
I got up to when he graduated from high school.
Basically, like I said, Joker played everyone, even the Bat family. And here,
Even himself, technically.
consider this. If Jason had killed him, then Jason would have effectively have killed two innocent people because, yes, as they weren't Joker and Harley Quinn. So it was kind of a win-win for him if Jason had killed him right there and then. Yeah, then he would have legit innocent people's death on his hands, which would have been a major loss for Batman. In this case, Joker gets to have even more fun now. I swear, Deathstroke, everything has to be so extra with you every time.
Needs to compensate for, the eye.
Well, I mean, I think he'd rather put up with this than put up with everyone keeping comparing him to Deadpool.
Same creator.
Same creator as what?
It's Deadpool. This Deathstroke was actually created by Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, I've seen enough anime to know where this is going.
Considering the composer is the same of JoJo and the Ventaughter adaptation was about to be released, I wonder.
So yeah, time to induct a monkey sabotage on this mech.
Mm-hmm.
Monkey Ball got pretty weird.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, you see, Shuri.
The games.
Well,
Has there ever been a stage where the stage is exploding around you?
Well, you see, guys, when their relatives literally got burned to death alive, they had to take vengeance. Now, keep in mind, those monkeys are dead.
I mean, there was a bomb involved in that story, so...
And yet, Harley miraculously did survive that.
Because of course he does.
Again, we're operating on Silver Age logic, so
Harley's
even
just
if there are
built
injuries, people
differently.
still survive.
Are you sure Joker and Harley Quinn aren't part Kryptonian?
You know what?
I'm pretty sure there's an Elseworld story where it's the case.
I was about to say.
There must have been with stories like that. You can make any kind of scenario.
Alright, with Japanese product, we need to homage one last thing. A magic battle on the rooftop while the rest of the thing is burning.
I don't know, what if Batman was a frog or something?
Will there be rain too?
I don't remember. Maybe after that.
I mean, come on, Batman, let's admit, you were looking forward to this just as much as I was.
And to be fair, Batman being trained by the League of Assassins means he already knows how to use a katana.
This is part of the bit.
Joker, I was kind of hoping we'd be on more stable ground.
Please, when has that ever been a part of our relationship?
The beginning.
I literally fell from unstable ground.
Yeah, if anything, Dweebs, again, if there's one thing that keeps hammered is
I didn't
how...
say. Well, I didn't say we were both on stable ground. I was.
Oh, now that's just being sore.
I am falling into a vat.
Oof.
You would totally dig that.
Why did I make Batman sound British in the end? Yeah, that's gonna be another Elseworld story. What if Batman was set in London?
I think there is one.
Gotham by Gaslight. We literally did it.
Remember, Jova, I checked to be sure later on. It's true Victorian and everything, but it's still supposed to be Gotham City in America.
Oh!
Yeah.
Huh. I could have sworn that it's all...
It's all connected.
I had zero expectations going into this movie.
And, how you feeling about
Same.
them?
Wow. I'm shocked at how good this movie is.
Wait, it's about to get better. Yes! We have still not yet reached the zenith of insanity yet.
This music actually was used for the trailer, for one of the trailers.
Ooh. Went for the outer cowl there. Okay, look. If your problem is that this movie goes too over the top, I can get why you may consider that a concern. Counterpoint, though. You went into a movie called Batman Ninja. Like,
What did you expect?
yeah.
I guess Batman being in feudal Japan and they took Batman elements of it. So I thought this would be a bit more grounded.
No. Like he said at the beginning, Warner Bros. Gave to the people involved complete carte blanche outside of just sticking to the basics of the characters.
And these are the results, ladies and gentlemen.
And really, why would you hire the one of the writers for, Studio Trigger and the art director of Blue Samurai for nothing?
Like, Studio Trigger, to my knowledge, has never done a grounded, subtle project.
The quality is varied, but yes, otherwise they always try to make things grandiose.
What is it? Okay, I know they only co-produce that show, but is it like
Traveling in the Franks, yes.
that one where it looks like they're
Ava.
No, the one where in the cockpit they look
Yes,
like
so
them.
Don't
Darling
worry.
in the Frank. Already.
So,
Oh, snap.
Oh, well, Batman's dead. Well, Batman's dead. That's the end. Wrong, Batman. This is not a brutality. It's a fatality.
Oh.
You were
Ninja
saying?
trick, teleports behind you.
Oh.
What?
This is an anime.
Okay! Now things are about to get to their most insane.
I mean, after all, we had Sengoku Batman until this point, but we kinda need to respect the title.
He is literally flying on the wings of bats.
And this is the last thing you see before you die.
Watch this.
Again, instilling what nobody knows, but he's literally using the technique.
Bad
It's
Ninja
Ninja
Batman!
Ninja Batman!
I saw
There
this
we
in
go.
Naruto.
Again, doing what he knows best, instilling the fear in criminals who are superstitious and a cowardly lot.
Wait.
All we need Batman to do is activate the Sotsuki no Hado and do Akuma's finishing blow.
However, Joker's a bit of a sore loser.
He had a bomb, didn't he?
I wouldn't give you the satisfaction. Now you can just have all the blood rush to your head. And so
also, the heat from those flames has got to be pretty bad.
Kom back zoals McVention hier.
And so ends the era of Joker.
So, how do we explain this to the Green Lantern Corps?
Time travel.
Explain what?
The fact that a regional verse suddenly went to shit in a time it wasn't supposed to.
No, what I want is a time skip and see how this is taught in history in Japanese schools.
Conveniently, it was out in an open field where no civilians were.
It's going to end like Army of Darkness.
It's more of a case of it's tremendous as a legend, passed on.
Exactly.
Yeah, is this gonna end like Army of Darkness?
But where Batman sleeps too long? No.
That would have been funny. I slept too long. I know that wasn't the ending used in the actual cut of the movie, but funnier.
Cherry blossoms or snow?
Yes.
How many times have I seen cherry blossoms this week?
We're going
So yeah, it's
home.
finally time to go home.
And we're taking Arkham Asylum back with us.
And then when he gets back to Gotham, Gotham's even more of a wreck than it normally is.
Also, you say what you said earlier, but the civilians did see the giant Zord.
But
Again,
I believe Batman can save the world.
With the generations, it will just pass on as legend. But like that said, it could also imply the beginning of the League of Assassins.
However, stick around.
Stay tuned because there are, aside from, there's Jim Gordon.
Yes, pay attention to this because we actually do get to see what happened afterwards for these comic
And there's
book
also a
panels.
post-credit scene.
So yes, all of
make a
Arkham.
sequel?
So far, no.
I would hope
God,
so.
I would totally love another take from this team, even for a different kind of story, to be honest.
So they brought back the criminals all literally tied up with rope and everything to a very, very, very confused Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock. Boy, that must have been something interesting to tell, Jim. It was just time travel, Jim.
Batman, you at a cosplay party or something?
You could say
To be fair, it's probably not the weirdest thing Gordon has seen in his career.
So now we are back to the present.
The streets of Gotham.
Oh, I thought the twist was going to be Alfred had to be Batman. Oh.
Yes, they brought back the old classic Batmobile, complete with masked horses and everything. Also, I hope that those horses don't suffer any shock from being in a completely different time date now.
Look, Batman laughed. Ha, got it.
And there you go, there is the payoff. Selina decided to bring back a souvenir.
Technically,
That's
it's...
based from before, and since she pawned it, she managed to sell it, she got
That's the thing!
some cash from
Want to
it.
know the irony? It's a worthless vase back from the time it came from, but now it's priceless.
Authentic. In fact, the line from the original script was about Grodd saying that it was essentially worthless. Also a Joker-themed car, I guess.
Reference to the 89 film. Oh my god, guys! It's Batman! Run!
Let's be fair, again, this is not the weirdest thing Gotham has seen.
I mean, he's being carried by horses. Do you think it'd be better if he just walked away?
You want to
It's
underestimate...
more stylistic, Lives.
So, how is Bruce going to explain this to the mayor?
Making an entrance? I don't know.
Change of scene?
Sorry. I thought the Gotham Parade was today.
All right.
So that was Batman Ninja, one of the greatest movies of all time, as far as I'm concerned.
No more post-credit scenes, so final thoughts. Leaves.
I mean, I'll give it credit. It definitely wears its silly premise on its sleeve and is proud of it. And it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
Yeah, especially with the anime tropes of giant mechs and interesting reaction shots. I really did like Tony Hale as the Joker. Roger Craig Smith at times sounded a bit weird as Batman, but ultimately he was just kind of he was okay. And everyone else ranged from good to really good. So that's Batman Ninja. It's one of the most ridiculously awesome things in the history of DC, and I've been looking forward to if there's ever a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me.
Dej.
What the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, but if you need a confirmation, Dej, yes, you're still alive.
Okay.
Yes, this is all real, and you can rewatch it whenever.
Okay. This movie's a 10. It's so ridiculous over the top, but it embraces everything great about the Batman mythos. This its own spin on it. Like, this is so cool. I knew nothing about this movie until like recently when I saw friends talk about, oh yeah, Toonami's airing Batman Ninja. I was like, what, was that animated short that had Batman fighting Bane from 2012 or something? But seeing all this, it's like, wow. It's like, they even have a mecha fight. Come on, how's that not cool?
I know, right?
They had several mecha fights.
Yeah, and they transformed into a Megazord.
Yep, I had a feeling you were going to enjoy this movie.
Like I guess a minor complaint is, once again, plot hijacked by the Joker, but
Okay,
it's
again.
fine.
To give credit, this is a case where Joker was kind of already the main bad guy. Where, if anything, it would have been a plot hijacked by Gorilla Grodd if it had just gone straight. So, I don't consider it so much hijacked by the Joker as in, again, this is something that was set in motion. This isn't like, say, Arkham Knight, where we had no idea the Joker was really going to be the main bad guy again.
Or how Arkham Origins was like, yeah, LOL, gotcha, it's Joker again.
I feel like they at least admitted that Joker was going to be in it in some of the advertising, seeing as how we knew Troy Baker was going to be Joker, so... But yeah, no, Batman Ninja. Anything else, Dej?
Yeah, I'm good.
Shiro.
Same. What was that? Because I remember a couple of days ago, I don't know, just not reading the tone correctly, but it's like when you mentioned we were doing Batman Ninja next, that's why I asked. It's like, oh, it's not going to be another bad movie, is it? And Pedro said, it's called Batman Ninja. And I was like, fair enough. And yeah, fair enough.
Like, I mean, maybe you... Okay, in a very specific way you could consider it a bad movie, but I'd argue that that's the no fun allowed method of thinking.
Right. Same thing with Sharknado, Shiro. Like, it's like, it's like is it a good movie or a bad movie? It's called Sharknado.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those titles where, okay, this title shows me that this movie has nothing to hide, and I respect that.
But yeah, this was so much fun. Like, it's just, I don't mind the movie being on a high for the majority of it because it's not ridiculousness that comes out of nowhere. It's consistent throughout the movie, but it is able to be serious when it wants to be. I get when it wants to be. Music is great. This movie is so stylized as well, but they use so many different animation styles for this. for like just the anime aspects, just Japanese art in general. This was really, really good. I'm not sure what else to say, honestly, but no, I agree that this is probably potentially one of the greatest movies of all time. I guess, sure, why not?
Sure. How many times can you say that you can see a Batman robo-suit made from monkeys and bats fighting against a combined Joker Power Rangers Megazord mech combined of some of Batman's greatest foes ever in robotic combat and a literal
and it's not
roofed...
a parody.
Yeah, it's not a parody.
Also, Batman teleports.
Yes.
It's on the same vein as something like to Schwarzenegger's Commando. It's the movie is so insane, so stupid that it actually bypasses infinity, crosses over, and comes back into being something amazing again.
And he still manages to respect the character, but yes, Deji.
And here I thought that the Lego Batman movie was the best Batman movie.
See, that's a great movie too.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this trumps it.
Like, yeah, honestly, I totally want to see a sequel to this movie at some point.
But no, that's it. Fantastic movie. Ridiculous movie, but fantastic movie.
All right, Pedro.
Well, do I really need to repeat whatever else I've already said? This movie is amazing. Again, it knows exactly what it wants to be, and well, there you go. No apologies. And yeah, like they said, yeah, it still respects the characters to their core. Again, it's literally Batman through the lens of of Studio Trigger. So yeah, awesome. So I mean, okay. Let me put it this way. The only thing I will say, okay, let me put it this way. Yeah, obviously, this movie is amazing. That's not even in question. It's just that like, well, when it comes to I feel like it's important to remember that this is an awesome Batman spin-off, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I would want this to replace mainline Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is a novel idea, and especially since we have a lot of Batman incarnations, it's okay to be wild with something.
Oh sure, obviously. It's just that if we turn this into the mainline one, then the stuff that would lose what makes it special.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Depends on which mainline Batman you're talking about, because Batman in DC Comics has done some pretty crazy stuff.
Sure. That is true.
Again, remember,
Regardless.
it's in the same universe where Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, so...
Sure. The point is, yeah, this is freaking awesome. I mean, what else there needs to be said? It's like, just look at it. Do I even need to explain? But anyway, yes, alright. Yeah. I mean, what else can I say? It's just like, I think the movie speaks for itself, honestly. Yeah, no, I don't have anything else to say.
All right, then I'll go next.
Right before you go, Jova, just quick mentioning also for the figure, because we haven't talked about it. For reception-wise, the movie currently has an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, but just based on 17 reviews. So even in a small pool, you can tell that the general consensus is high. For some reason, the audience score is actually quite, colder. It's like around a 62, and I kind of was expecting the opposite, but whatever. And as for sales, as of the end of 2019, the Blu-rays and DVDs grossed 3,643,037 units.
Not
so
bad.
Yeah, it was also a huge success.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jova.
Batman Ninja. Again, I don't often say this, but this was legit one of the greatest movies I have ever seen. Because, okay, look, yes, I've seen movies that definitely throw all caution to the wind, but rarely do they ever work as well as this one. The music is phenomenal, the character designs are wonderful, and like I said, props to the American dubbing side. Like, even though they had to improvise a lot, they still managed to make a good script out of it. The Japanese script is pretty good as well. If there's a flaw I could think of is, well, I'll admit it, I wish this was longer. For a few reasons. One, more of this! Please! More of this! Reason number 2, I do feel like it could have maybe been used to flesh out some of the villains more, or heck, add in some more villains, action sequences, maybe plot out the pacing a bit better. And 3, yeah, how cool would it have been if this had gotten into theaters? Because honestly, this feels like a movie worth the cinematic experience.
I will argue it's one of those cases where I feel like they intentionally made it this way because they didn't want to, like, for example, if they blew it up to 2 hours, it would require them to think even more of how you could best even further and top everything and top the previous scene over and over. And eventually it might get to a point where the movie might start to run out of steam. So I feel like keeping it on a short length would allow, again, it's best to leave the audience wanting more than making them feel like this movie's already a bit 10 minutes too long.
And one more the audience certainly did, and can you blame them? Like this! Holy cow! The action is wonderful, and it's like, I remember the first time watching this, I always thought, wait, are they gonna do this? Nah, they're probably not gonna. And then they did exactly that, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger until it finally culminates with the final fight. Like, it's the perfect bout of escalation. Like, never does it feel like they were slowing down at some point. And yet, it's done in a way where you don't feel too exhausted. Again, unless movies being too over the top is not your thing. Again, though, I would argue that's probably more of a personal problem than this movie's problem. Again, how over the top this movie...
how personal preferences work.
Sure, yeah. I will forever argue that the fact that this movie goes so over the top is its biggest strength. I mean, that's not to say a more grounded one couldn't have worked, but let's be honest. The movie going this over the top and succeeding is the main reason people still talk about it to this day. They didn't miss a beat, and it just is so wonderful for it. And the homages they do with the villains are pretty nice too. Everyone gets a good enough showing. So yeah, wonderful stuff. Which leads us to our final round of final thoughts, Tio.
Yeah. Also, quickly to mention, I find the other anime series is a collection of 6 episodes where they were collaged into one, anthology similar to the Animatrix. It's called Batman Gotham Knight, released in 2008. And yes, it's supposed to be set in between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. I'll be honest, I've seen it and it doesn't really match with the style of Nolan. Weird. But yeah, just to let you know, this was released just a few months after Gotham by Gaslight. And as I mentioned in the commentary of that movie, Gotham by Gaslight is a very shallow adaptation with kind of poor quality animation that doesn't really respect the source material. While this takes an original idea, completely runs with it, and yet it manages to be respectful to its source material almost to a T, despite, altering so much in presentation and scope when it comes to story. How fucked up is that? But yes, it's an Elseworld story that homages. It's a true love letter to the Silver Age. Despite still having modern tones, like for example, this stylistic scene in 2D where Red Hood threatens both Harley Quinn and Joker, you do feel the brutality of every single and how fucking violent Jason gets to be towards these people. Again, he gets uncomfortable on purpose because of that. You do get to feel that. The 3D animation manages to be still on point thanks to the colors, and the outlines, which gives that kind of cell shade that most 3D animation needs. And even with the lower type of movement that's typical for this, it still manages to work. Again, the voice acting is fine for the most part. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Tony Hale as the Joker, but he does the job that he's supposed to. At the end of the day, I will still take the original script. But this is still a very good alternative, and as for a story, it's still very enjoyable, even if you don't know much about Batman, even if it takes right in the middle of the action and has a couple of characters that you might not know that just dumps like that. I agree with what Joa said, where we kind of probably would need a bit more, but not too much. I'd say 15 minutes scattered across the entire thing by the virtue of having smaller scenes that extend a bit some existing ones that help flesh out a bit more the characters that are not super supported, as in mostly the other villains or the rest of the Bat family. But as it is, the product is still very good, to be honest. Easily, one of my favorite DC animated stuff. And as far as original story goes, is instantly a classic. I wouldn't want necessarily a sequel to this because the story is pretty contained, and in order to make a sequel, we will need a couple of more contrived coincidences. But I'm sure it can work. Maybe a Justice League stories where instead of about families, Batman and the rest of the superheroes tangle still in Japan potentially. But even for another type of story with the DC universe, still set with this kind of setting style and craziness, I do believe there is potential to work. And it has proven time and time again that Warner Bros., despite all the weird shit that's going on, especially now, people like Ezra Miller, unfortunately, seems to be very in touch with its Japanese division. Because aside from distributing most of the JoJo anime, for example, they were the one who commissioned. We mentioned on Deji's channel about the Dejimon movie. Apparently, they were the one who actually gave also carte blanche to that creator to create Summer Wars. That was an original product, apparently, and they completely went on board with that. So it seems that at least for its Japanese division, Anarchy and now Warner Bros. Seems to know what the fuck we're doing for the time being. So please, I would love to see more from this collaboration of people.
Yeah.
But give them a Superman movie, please.
You know what? I could totally see that working.
Why not? Unfortunately, for the time being, what DC has planned for its animated movies are also a couple of original stories, and one of them is going to be a CGI movie, Battle of the Super Sons. But aside from that, they don't really have mentioned anything about their Japanese division, so only time will tell. But yeah, it was still nice to actually revisit this one. So enjoy the rest of April and tune in for whatever DC product we do next.
See you then.
Yep.
See ya.